Good afternoon. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes to see if anybody pops on online, live for our session this afternoon, and get a couple sips of tea in. Okay, month 2, here we go. All right, welcome everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to month 2's mentor session and kind of setting the stage for the second phase of the Evolve program, which was designed for our team as kind of a 90-day program to map out step-by-step how you can really get some momentum building in your business, in your doTERRA business. So this is really a time where whether you have been a user, a sharer, a builder for whatever period of time, whether you're brand new, you've been around from the beginning when I started almost 3 years ago, this is a time where you're deciding. There's a shift that's caused you to decide to get on this journey and to really connect with other humans like you've never before and share this vision that you have of health and wellness and creating something really big. So I'm excited to share this month with you so much, and it's really exciting to me because it takes me back to when I shifted into this decision and started teaching first classes, and it's just been the absolute best thing that I've ever done. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped to talk to you more about this and what we have ahead for months 2 and 3 are really exciting times. So before we get started, I typed into the chat for a minute and just wanted to say happy Tuesday, and please feel free to use the chat during this session, especially if you just get a chance to pop on live for a few minutes. Use the chat and share with me anything on like how month 1 has been going, how it went rather, and how, if you've had any classes or any one-on-ones, like how everything's going, what major questions do you want to answer right away. So feel free to use the chat, and then I'll check in on it as we go through some of the info, okay? So also, if you end up just watching this recording later, because I know a lot of you were on different time zones and different schedules and stuff, and so I know you're going to end up maybe just catching the recording. So please, please, please use the Facebook page to share with us how it's going for you in your journey. Everybody's got such a unique situation and a unique amount of time that they're dedicating to this. It looks so different for each person. So I would love to know, like, how is it going for you and how can we best support you? You know, not only am I here offering that, but I know that everyone else who's on this journey alongside of you would be happy to share input, their own experiences, and I know that it'll just support each and every one of us. And you know, maybe it will just be that one thing that you say that clicks someone else's, you know, anything that might be stuck or unsure. Like, please, please, please use the Facebook page to share. Yeah, encourage each other, right? So, and then of course questions. So questions on anything that we've been through so far. So we'll go through the couple of things that we've done in month 1, and please feel free to ask any questions, and of course what you have facing you, which is basically a whole lot of sharing from your heart, teaching classes this month. All right, so utilize the Facebook page, and if you're watching this recording on another platform, just get right out there and make sure you're talking, sharing to your upline, whether it's through email or some other form of connection. Okay, get on the phone and don't hesitate to share your excitement, share your comments, you know, put your heads together and talk through some questions or situations, okay, to help you gain some clarity and forward motion on everything. All right, so month 2, welcome to March. For those of you who may be watching this that don't know me personally, my name is Lauren Bernard. I'm a wife and mom of 2 beautiful children, and I've been on this journey with doTERRA for about 3 years, almost. It's going on 3 years, and I was just so so in love with the product from the moment I experienced it, and was really in a place in my life where I had no intention when I was not seeking out this business, but I was in a place where I was seeking something, and it did spark. It planted a seed and sparked an interest, and so the whole premise of what I started is called the Awakened Seed Essence, or Essence of the Awakened Seed is my customer page. So I love that I get to use doTERRA as a tool to educate on a holistic lifestyle, which I love to live. And I also use it in yoga teaching practices. I'm also just incredibly inspired by those who I have been on this journey with me and have looked to me as a leader in launching their own doTERRA business, and have found incredible fulfillment in working and coaching other people along the same process and the same journey that I've been on to elevate their lives. So that's why I love doing what I do. So please don't hesitate to contact me on any of these platforms anytime. I love our team and I love what I do. All right, so let's move on. If my screen share will allow me to. Okay, so this is a little screenshot of a document that I'm going to post on Team Evolution Facebook page, and also it's a Google Doc. So if you're not on Facebook, that you have access to this. So this is the Evolve Tracker. So it's basically just a spreadsheet where I'd love for everyone who participates in this program or just launches a business at any point in time here or in the future can use this as just a gauge. You know, you want to be able to document these kind of things, and it's important for our team to make sure that we're supporting you properly by tracking a little bit of data. So your name, your LRP, your number of classes, and your number of enrollments for each month. Okay, just a little housekeeping, right? And so I'm excited, you guys, really, really excited about this month because, you know, last month, we'll just do a little review. Last month, we talked a lot about this, right? A lot about what you need to really get out there and start teaching a class. We talked about doing a network blitz in order to create the attendees at the class. And we talked about a lot of specific things. And what I want to make sure that I remind you about is that, you know what, let me back off for just a minute because I just need to tell you more. I'm just so excited about this month for you. My very first class that I taught was very impromptu. There was a really wonderful promotion going on that a few of my friends, I just didn't want them to miss out on this opportunity. And we went to a little juice bar restaurant place, and I had my few little 10 family physician kit kind of oils, and maybe you know, a modern essentials book, a catalog, one class handout that I myself received going to a class. I had not even had a class in the box or anything like that. And we sat down and just really shared from the heart about the awesomeness of this product and the things that it was doing in my life and the things that I was seeing it do in other people's lives. And that is the place where I hope that you are when you start to teach, and I hope you stay there. No matter how long you're in this business, I don't think the teaching will ever end for those people who are really meant to be in it long term, just really have a passion for the product and the lifestyle. And that is the neatest thing about it, and what really started to pique my interest in why I wanted to start this business. And that was because, you know, I knew that if I'm going to continue to do this, I'm going to continue to teach this class, you know, I'm going to start to go beyond my normal daily interactions. And at the time I was primarily just home as a stay-at-home mom. And I was getting this, the fulfillment and that evolving that comes from the power of connecting with other human beings and serving them. And so over time, what really this business was, I had heard this in the beginning, that this is a business that is really an essential oil company but it's really a personal development company wrapped up under these little essential oils. It's so many things in one, you guys, but really, like, if you're a person who is just ready to live to their fullest potential, there's no better vehicle than to do this business and to share, to serve, to help people, and to connect with them on a real deep level because of what you're giving to them, providing to them that message. You're just going to reap back the benefits so tenfold in your own life and in the way that you can show up in your own skin on a daily basis, and the stuff that it helps you grow through. You know, there are times where it is a little tricky, a little edgy here and there, and that's the beauty of it. So I'm excited. I'm really, really excited for you. So last month, we got really clear on our why, you know, and going back to that, why do you want to do this? Because like I said, you know, it does take a little grit and determination. You have to know why you're doing this. You really do. There's going to be times where we have to pick ourselves up. I've had classes where, you know, everybody texts you and cancels at the last minute, and even still today, in a lot of my experiences, you have to deal with some of that stuff that comes up and the buttons that it triggers in you. And just pick yourself up and keep moving forward, because I promise you, with persistence and with a committed why, it's only going to take you, you know, the sky's the limit. So we got clear on our why we really want to do this. And you guys, we are so needed in this space of natural healthcare and wellness and emotional well-being and simplicity of life in this busy world. And you know, it's just such an amazing impact that you can have. And so just spend some more time. If you haven't gotten incredibly clear, spend a little bit more time with that and get super clear. And then we also were hitting it really hard with sampling and inviting to classes that are happening this month. Okay, so sampling, sending invitations, texting, doing your network blitz, getting out there, making sure that all the people in your immediate sphere know what's going on in your life and what's coming up, and follow up with them. You know, have lots of the best classes come from having a little bit of class before the class, and those little touches with people so that they know when they're showing up, they're eager to learn more. They have a little bit of a taste, but they're really ready to dive in. Okay, so yeah, let's see. You guys, your first class, it may not be perfect. Like I said, mine was like kind of off the seat of my pants. I didn't even have materials. I didn't have a script. I had literally been to one class myself. And anybody can share this with the right why, the right passion, and the product is going to sell itself. So don't hold yourself back because you don't think you're ready, you don't think you're perfect. Like, just let go of the imperfection and start something amazing. Just take one step, you know, acknowledge that you're human, and absolutely that is going to make you more relatable to the people that you're sharing this with. You know, sometimes if it's, trust me, I've gotten to that place where I try to make it all perfect because I am a perfectionist that I work on. I've tried to make it a million different ways, impressive and perfect, and those are not the successful classes, you guys. Those are not the classes that serve and connect with people the most. So that's just based on my own experience, but try not to get too caught up in being perfect. Just come and share authentically from your heart and your experiences, and it's going to be great. Your month is going to be awesome. So I encouraged you to, now everybody's got a different time schedule, which we're going to talk about today, time management with whatever you've got going on. But I encouraged you to choose a reoccurring weekly class. So one class every week, same time, same channel, same place, all that, because it's with ease, right? So as you're out in your life, you're talking to people, you're sampling, even still, now that you've done your network blitz, you kind of continue that in the flow of your life and continue to invite people. And so with ease, if you know you have a class every Wednesday night at 7 in your home, then it's really simple to just invite people on the fly. Keep samples with you, keep your invitations with you, possibly have something that you can text out or email out as an invitation quickly with people's permission. So great. One thing to be sure you do have, you guys, even if you didn't get your class in a box, and hopefully you have watched the class in a box video. Let me see if anybody's jumped on. If I would love to hear on the replay, you guys maybe post your comments on what your thoughts are on what style of class you feel great about teaching. So whether it's using the class in a box, or if you have a different handout that we talked about, a presentation, like what is really connecting with you? I'd just love to hear your general feedback on that. But one thing to be sure not to leave out when you're sharing, definitely share the top 10 oils, like in the family physician kit. And absolutely, no matter what you do, get those drawing slips. So this file can be printed. It should be in the files tab of our Facebook group. And if you need it emailed to you, just feel free to let me know. And you can just print them off, or they can be purchased in a little tear pad as well. Oil Life, I know, has them, probably Aroma Tools as well, but you can print them off and just cut them out. And you can make your own, whatever. But I do like this one because it says, you know, it has little boxes that you can check about whether they're interested in learning more about a wholesale account, whether they're interested in hosting a class or doing the business. And then it has a way to contact them. So this is like gold, you guys. I didn't use this in the beginning, and I got to tell you, a lot of people slipped through because of my inability to harness some of those leads and put them into the flow that has taken me a while to grasp onto. So definitely that's my biggest emphasis there, is to make sure you use those drawing slips and just give away, you know, wild orange or make a roll on, whatever you want to do for your giveaway is great. And I love to also offer the intro kit for someone who's interested in hosting a class and having you out at their home. And then, of course, you want to bring your calendar for the month of April with available dates, so, or for month 3, and make sure that you have those ready to go for people. Okay. All right. So, you know, I would love for you guys to post also, like, what was going great for you in month 1. You know, as far as sampling goes, did you have a really cool interaction with someone at the grocery store that you didn't expect to happen? You know, did you do something out of your comfort zone? Did you have a one-on-one? Have you taught a class yet? Like, I just would love to know what's happening. Have you maybe created a really beautiful office space that you're excited about for your oils and your business to grow from? I would just love to hear, like, what's going on in your business. Okay, so please post that in some comments when I post this recording. All right, let's see. Okay, so we reviewed month 1. We talked about doing the network blitz, teaching a class video. So if you haven't watched those yet, watch those. And if you haven't already been tracking your data on classes that you've got booked, that you're teaching, and then also you want to make sure you're tracking how many people enroll from your classes, so that you can just, you know, refine things. You can see what's maybe, you know, a lot of people didn't come. Maybe I need to do a better job at sending a reminder text the day before the class, and you know, telling people how excited you are to see them. You're looking forward to seeing them. You know, you've got some great peppermint brownies you're making, whatever it is that you want to tell people, reminding them about the class, or, hey, I have a wild orange in a magazine, just to let you know, you're going to really love it. And, you know, by the way, like, if it's a fit for you, that's great. And if not, it's no big deal either. Just really excited to see you. So that sometimes can be, you know, something that holds you back a little bit, that you have to refine and tweak a little. Also, you know, maybe your first class you go over on time and you lose people, they have to go. You know, so these little things, you want to track your numbers so that you can improve your teaching. You can improve your presentation. You can improve the success of your overall business. Or, you know, you maybe have to set aside a little bit more time to follow up with people if stuff didn't go well one way or the other, right? But it's really important, you guys. The things that I did not do in the beginning are the things that I think have held me back from some of the growth. So tracking data, collecting people's information and keeping it in one consistent place, like a spreadsheet and email folders, organizing groups and stuff on my phone, just little basic things that were too scattered and stuff gets lost. And then of course, time blocking, being efficient with time. So these are the kinds of things that even no matter what amount of time you have to dedicate to this business, if you do the right things, then over time, you're going to find yourself successful. So, all right. So this month, it's all about teaching maybe your 4 classes and making sure that you follow up on anybody who, all through the month, people that you've sampled to, you want to make sure you're following up, inviting them to your classes consistently, gathering your materials each week, feeling really good, watching that video several times on teaching a class, maybe refining how you feel authentic and sharing your story, and maybe your knowledge of the 10 basic 10 oils and their the approved claims list, getting really good at articulating that for people so that you can get it all in the window of time people have their attention, a few stories to go along with those oils. So those are the types of things that we've been gearing up towards and that you're still going to be working with this month. But in addition to that, I want you to think ahead a little bit. We're going to be working with our calendar and time blocking some essential activities. And then, of course, in month 3, we're going to take a look at our calendars for April, month 3, and make sure you time block if you're doing Wednesday nights right now and you're not getting a great turnout, maybe you want to switch it up to a different time for the next month, for month 3. Maybe you want to try, a Friday morning or a lunch class, a lunch and learn, and serve people something to eat. Think about what's going on in your life. We've got some spring break coming up, so you're going to want to think about where people's minds are at. I know that people are going to have their kids around, so maybe for some of you who might be like me, this is just an example, just think about your own situation. But, maybe people want to meet with their kids at the park and just, bring your blankets and we'll bring some oils. You don't have to do anything fancy like your peppermint brownies. You can just, share them from your heart and get people together and do your basic classes that way. Or involve the kids if kids are around. Or, you might want to do something online if people are going to be kind of traveling a lot and doing something online, a webinar recording. Please let me know if that's something that is kind of your jam and you want to use our Zoom room, the Team Evolution Zoom room. We can record on here, and it has, we have like the upgraded version, so you can have lots of different people on, and it's really helpful if you've got a lot of people that aren't local. But stick with the locals, stick with the simple and the authentic, whatever it is, that's really personal to you, that's going to bring in your people. I teach a yoga class every week in my home, and then we sit around candidly with lunch and talk oils after that too. So whatever it is that's going to be good for you. So I encourage you to do 4 classes again in April, once a week, something consistent, same time, same channel, whatever. And then in April, let's add in one like DIY class. And this can be you hosting it, or someone else can host it for you if a friend wants to host it. And maybe you want to do something like spring cleaning and teach people how to make their own all-purpose cleaners, using some vinegar and some lemon oil for glass windows, certain all-purpose surfaces, teaching people about On Guard and or On Guard concentrate and making some all-purpose cleaner that way. Whatever it is that you'd like to do, where maybe people can bring their oils and where you can share yours for a certain flat rate, just kind of as a continuing education piece for the customers that maybe come to your classes this month, in month 2. Okay, so going to continue to follow up, sample, and invite. This is something that just kind of has to be part of who you are and your consciousness, right? So everywhere you go, you want to be sampling and inviting for either stuff that's still coming up this month in month 2, stuff that's coming up in month 3. Use your class drawing slips to ensure your momentum. We talked a little bit about that already. And you're always building your market and you're always sampling. So everywhere you go, is try to meet new people, try to meet a couple new people a day. And my goal for everyone in month 2 is to enroll 2 people. And that's being very realistic with the amount of time. I know a lot of you have full-time gigs and can only dedicate a certain amount of time to this at this month, at this time. So my goal for you is to enroll 2 people. We have such a great month to be your kickoff month, you guys, with the Deep Blue promotion that's happening, especially I know in the States it's happening. But check your promo. We've got the 200 PV. You get the tube of Deep Blue Rub and also the Deep Blue Roll-On, the Touch. And such a good deal, you guys. And then also for anyone who maybe enrolled with you last month or current customers you may have hanging around from your early sharing days, be sure to get on the phone with them and talk to them about the promo. It's such a great time for people to place an order if they only order a few times a year. It's a really good opportunity for your volume. And then, of course, we asked you guys to be talking with your upline. So some of you have been working directly with me, which it's so wonderful to get to know you on this deeper level. And be sure that we talk to you about doing a 3-way welcome call. So after your class, you're going to have a couple of classes this month, anywhere up to 4. And the people that enroll as new customers, we want to make sure we give them a really good welcome call, and keep a lookout for the webinar on that next week, how we can really do an awesome job welcoming people to our community and making sure that they're plugged into the proper resources, that they're going to be really successful with their product and with whatever goals they have in their lifestyle. So I invite you to ask your upline to do a 3-way welcome call with you with some of your first customers, so that you get an idea of what this process is like, how this flow is. And I'm also going to record for you guys a welcome call that you can literally just email people a link to welcome them to our community, to give them a tour of our resources, tips, and things like that. Some basic housekeeping, how to log into your back office, all that good stuff to welcome and say thank you for your trust and support, and we're here for you as a community. And then also be on the lookout for a couple of other webinars coming out later in the month. We're going to talk about the fortune and the follow-up. And as you're going to have a lot of new people enrolling in your classes, you're going to have a lot of people to follow up with. And then you're also going to want to watch placements, because that's, of course, the structure of your business. The more people you start enrolling, the more important it's going to be to have them in properly placed within your organization. So the Evolve program is just getting people basically to Elite, which is, no certain set structure placement of people. It can be just random with an overall volume of 3,000 for a month. And the placement isn't critical then. But when you're looking to build into the upper ranks, your placement is important for other bonuses and things like that. So placement will be important to consider this month as well as you're growing. Okay. All right, let's go on to our next slide. So you guys, when I first started, I had little kids, and a newer mom to having 2 kids, full-time mom, full-time gig, the whole thing. And I didn't think I had a single ounce of time. I mean, I barely had time to shower, brush my teeth in a day. I could barely I felt like I was drowning on most days just to keep my sanity, which is probably why I went to my essential oil class, even though I was under the excuse of I needed something for my son. But I know that I was like hanging on to every bit of information about like emotional well-being and everything, like, oh yeah, she's talking to me. Yeah, she's talking to me. So, you guys, I didn't have a whole lot of time in the beginning, and I would say that it was probably between 3 to 5 hours in the week that I was even like squeezing into my life. And so this is absolutely doable. You just have to stay committed no matter what amount of time it is. And we're gonna go through this a little bit to help you have a really good grasp on the amount of time that you can dedicate. So, but Now in my life, I feel like I've gotten a better handle on certain things. My children are a little bit older. I feel a little bit more stable and under control in certain areas of life, not so much in like a survival mode in certain things, right? And there's a season to that. So I respect that every single one of us is in whatever season it may be. But this is kind of a guideline if you have 1 hour a day that you can dedicate to doTERRA. So make sure you're using your oils and taking Lifelong Vitality every day. That's number one, so that you can feel optimum, so that you can work at your best, so that you can do these things properly and not feel completely zapped of energy or overwhelmed or whatever. It's going to take a lot of you. So you've got to use your oils and your LLV. You've got to have that names list, at all times, constantly add to it. You share your oils with people, 1 to 3 new people every week. Keep them with you where you go. It's always on your mind that you may have an opportunity to share with people. Make it your goal, 1 to 3 new people every week. 2 to 4 one-on-one type appointments every month. This can be like, hey, you want to meet up for lunch? Hey, you want to meet up for coffee? Or hey, like after yoga, you want to grab a smoothie and we can talk a little bit about it, and do just like this organic one-on-one class with people. And I think that even if you aren't doing a consistent class every week, you'll find in your life, if you're working full-time or you're committed full-time to this or that doing one-on-ones may fit in easier. I would invite moms over for play dates with their kids and say, yeah, like just bring them over and make lunch and we can talk for a little bit while the kids play. One-on-ones fit really nicely into a lot of different lifestyles. Coffee dates on the weekend if you work full-time, or in the evening, something like that is really nice to do. And then at a minimum, 2 classes a month. And then enrolling 1 to 4 people per month out of that time that you're allocating. You're going to do a membership overview, which is like the welcome, right, on lifestyle, where this is voice-to-voice, face-to-face with people. And so 7 hours in a week, right? This looks like 4 of those hours you're going to dedicate towards sharing, towards hosting a class or one-on-one, enrolling people. You can probably put in there a little bit of sampling, inviting is some of your time there. 1 hour per week is following up from your previous enrollments. 1 hour per week is planning. This is getting together all your resources, going over, making sure you have the proper oils that you're wanting to do for this or that, the drawing slips, making photocopies. This can also be, inviting and sending reminders, checking in with people, that kind of thing. And then an hour a week is spent on your own personal development. So this can be educating yourself on the oils. This can be listening to different team calls, webinars, reading certain material, watching something on YouTube, or listening to a podcast or something like that. So try to find that balance in whatever amount of time you have to allocate, but this kind of gives you a little outline to play with. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about how I've decided to sort of integrate this into my calendar. And a couple of things to avoid. So I have spent entirely too much time on this stuff, you guys, and have found it is not the highest and best use of your time. So avoid Facebook classes. These are classes where, you put up different posts and people can comment in, and then you slap up your promo and you slap up the prices, and you post a slide about, oh, this oil can do that. I mean, and wasting your time on creating fancy images and graphics for social media marketing. If you've not got a full-time schedule to allocate towards this, that's not the highest and best use of your time. Where you need to be spending your time is with the people and with sharing and doing the key activities that are building this business. And I am a personal development junkie, which is probably why I was attracted to this business, like I was saying. But you've got to avoid spending too much time in the beginning, not thinking that you're ready, not thinking that you're enough, thinking that you need more and more and more, you don't know enough yet, without any action. So a little bit of it is really wonderful. You need a little bit of it every week to fulfill you, to recharge you. You need time to rest and unplug so that you can hit this stuff with the highest efficiency, best use of your time, okay? All right, let's keep going here. So what gets scheduled gets done. All right, so this is a glimpse at the calendar that I kind of create for myself now. Let me just make sure. I'm going to talk about a couple of other things, but I think I'm going to wait and talk to you about this first. All right, so no matter how much time you have to dedicate towards this, you need to be realistic. Take a good look at a day in your life. Take a good look at the amount of time you have in a typical day, or in a typical week. Maybe there's some days that are slower than others. And be really realistic about, what kind of space are you going to be able to create for doTERRA to happen in your days? And I want you to pick a number, write that number down, and, think about the number of hours that adds up to in a week. How much can I realistically write that number down? Okay. And then that's great. Whatever tiny bit of time you have, you guys, if your why matches up with, I'm going to make time, no doubt that over time, with persistent action, following these basic things, that you will be able to match full-time income in this business. So little by little, that little work over time is going to add up to your goals. But just be realistic about the time you have right now versus your goals. And, work with your upline a little bit on like, okay, well, so like, how long is that going to actually take me to reach this goal I have? We can help you with some of that. But no matter what you have to dedicate towards this, as long as you do some of these things, that in time, you're going to be able to really reap the benefits of it. So the other thing I would say is that, okay, so when I started, I felt overwhelmed in parenting in many aspects of my life, that I felt like, okay, like it was happening fairly naturally, fairly organically, this process of sharing doTERRA, that, it was happening pretty easily, this sharing, the teaching and everything. And then it was like, okay, and then I have to follow up with these people and learn about this and learn about that. And it is overwhelming. I get it. It's completely overwhelming. And I got to a place where I thought, like, I don't know if I can handle this. Like, I don't know if I can handle, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to handle this amount of growth this quickly. And is my family going to be able to handle it? So you kind of have to, sit with the vision, sit with reality, and decide, okay, if this is going to continue to grow, it's kind of the place that I got. If I'm going to keep working at this flow, it's going to grow. So do I feel okay with that? Or does it feel a little bit edgy? And to me, it felt a little bit edgy for a while. It felt a little like I'm not able to give enough to my relationship. I'm not able to be there on the level that I wanted to be there for and needed to be there with my kids. And I wasn't able to keep up with all the other things that helps me feel good in my body. So if it's feeling a little bit edgy, you have to look at, okay, where are some places, where are some things that have to give? Because something does have to give in order for this to grow. So, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, if stuff feels edgy like that, I just had to call in some places for some support. It took a while through, working through my relationship a little bit and really sharing and connecting with my husband and getting his complete, he was very supportive, but as far as like really taking it to the next level where it's going to require like, extra support around the house, extra time away from the family, things that really start to impact the family, you've got to get their support, right? So you got to sit down and work through some of that and figure out where you're going to need additional support in order to make this grow. And is it going to feel okay for you and your family? So take it baby steps as you need to, you guys. So, all right. So when I felt like, okay, like I can definitely allocate proper amount of time to this business, I wanted to set up a typical calendar of these activities of that flow that we're talking about. So we have a class, we enroll people, we follow up with them, we do continuing education, we talk to them about hosting classes, and then you have people who want to jump into the business and you're nurturing them as the business. So in time, as you grow to elite and beyond, this is kind of a good gauge for what your calendar could look like, okay? Now, the way that I decided it works best for me, I read a book called Essentialism, and I highly recommend this book. Check out this book, Essentialism, because basically it's like, especially in this world, like we've got so many things going this way and that way that we're never doing like any one thing really good. So one of the things that I do is, first of all, at the end of every day, I look ahead at the next to-do list of things that are coming up, my schedule for the next day. And I highlight 3 things and ask myself, like, okay, so what do I need to do on this list to feel the most successful overall, towards my visions, my goals in my life, and focus on those things. Okay, so that's one thing that I do. And then for each day of the week, I kind of like to have a theme of the types of activities that I'm going to accomplish, because I found that if I was trying to do like, okay, contact these people for this, and some of that stuff just didn't really work for me, because this is a very organic business and kind of ebbs and flows like that. So, all right, so starting on Mondays are kind of a day where I like to nurture our leaders, right? So doing the type of thing that I'm actually doing today is a great example. So talking to the frontline leaders, anyone that you may have in the future that ends up wanting to join you in doing the business. And this may not be every week for you for a while, until you get to a certain point where you do have builders that you're working with and helping them build their business. You may only do it once a month. You may only do it bi-weekly in the beginning. It's a little slower. So if it's not your frontline leaders, then it's also time for just providing value and service to your community. So this is posting on social media, essential oil tips, information, links to articles, stuff you're doing in your life, share photos that, things you've got going on. Maybe it's time for you to have a one-on-one with somebody, to really give them further information, provide value at lunch with somebody, and just sharing whatever you can to nurture your people. Those are the kinds of things I like to focus on Mondays. And of course, every day you're going to have a little bit of the tasks like emails and texts and calls and stuff like that. But if you can take certain chunks of time in your calendar and your day and say, I'm going to check email at this time and at this time, a couple times a day, so that you're not constantly distracted and inundated with it. And that way you can focus on the essential theme of the day and get those things accomplished, okay? So that's Monday. And Tuesdays, I typically like to follow up with new wellness advocates. So anyone who has maybe just recently enrolled, needs a welcome call, you want to talk with them about their goals or oil uses. Or this can also be talking to customers who have been on board for a while, but maybe they're not on LRP. You want to talk to them a little bit more about that, or whatever's going on in their life. Schedule some time where you can line up certain people that you're going to talk to. So you have a window of time. For me, like, for example, I have 11 to 1, and then I'm going to line up, 20 minutes or so for each call and write down who I'm going to call that day. This Tuesday is also a time where you're going to have like 3 to 10 people who you've sampled, who you're going to create some kind of a connection with. You're going to contact them, you're going to invite them, just connection with people, just calling them up and saying, hey, or send a little message and see what's going on in their life. And just nurture that warm market of people. On Wednesday is a day that is great for fulfillment. So this can be sending out samples, this can be mailing off packages, this can be doing your photocopies, gathering supplies, prepping for your class. It can also be, actually teaching a class. That could be something that happens on that same day. It's a good day to kind of do that right before the class, just all that prep stuff. On Thursdays, the theme of the day is, again, more calls. Try to gear them as you grow towards maybe these are the membership overview calls, your welcome calls, your leader calls, maybe 20 to 30 minute blocks, maybe a business overview in there sometime in that day of the month. And then Fridays, again, I like to make that more providing value days. Sometimes, like I said, I teach a yoga class and have like intimate oil discussion as well. I like to do a Facebook Live Q&A for my customers, more calls and three-way calls, just anything else that would nurture your community, provide value. This could be where maybe you plug in some of your DIY stuff. And then on Saturdays, I really like to be kind of personal development days. So a couple of hours in the morning, I like to hit it right away when I first wake up. So maybe I'm listening to a podcast while I'm doing some laundry, I'm doing some dishes and things like that. My dog is like whining because she's like, who are you talking to? Hey, it's okay. Yeah, so personal development, I like to spend a couple of hours maybe reading something really inspiring, listening to maybe a call from some high-level doTERRA leaders that I've missed in the week, and do that while I'm doing some little things around the house, or cleaning up from the chaos of the week, that kind of thing. And then, that's kind of the extent of it on Saturday. My Saturdays and Sundays, for me personally, it's really important to be with my family. We've got a lot of sports and stuff that happens on Saturdays, birthday parties, all kinds of things that go on. So that's really what works best for me, but it may look completely different for you. And then Sundays, I like to be completely off. As much off as I can do at doTERRA, because I'm always have my oils with me and I'm always sampling. So it's not like off in that extent, but I'm not actively doing the business building activities on those days. I teach a Sunday morning yoga class. I love to be with the kids and hanging out and having, some just really beautiful quality time with them. I like to be in my kitchen prepping food for the week, looking at my menu for the week ahead, doing some grocery shopping and things like that. And just being with my husband, my kids. Okay, so that kind of gives you an idea. And, I was talking before about when I look at my priorities of things that I just really, there's probably a lot of things on the list in the day, but I pick the 3 things I know I'm going to feel best about getting done. And sometimes they're the ones that you want to do the least. The one that you want to do the absolute least, you do that one first. Just do it. Just do it. There's something called eat that frog. You eat the one that you want to, the one that you're dreading doing, just do it first. First thing, first priority to get off the list in the day. So a lot of times in the beginning, it can be making those follow-up calls. Can be something that you just continue to put off and put off and put off. And when your business doesn't grow, you wonder why. Been there, done that. So, okay, great. So you guys, please feel free to post questions, comments about calendaring your time and how that works for you. If you need some help mapping this out, we can talk through your week together, your priorities, your obligations, and that kind of thing. All right, so yeah, time management. You got to think about your priorities. My kids, my family are my priorities. You got to make sure you schedule that stuff in there, because sometimes the things that we take most for granted, those close relationships, and you need to get their support in your efforts in doing this, but you don't want to make them second either. So you've got to be really careful at finding the balance. But you guys, it's so exciting when you do. And I don't feel like, don't feel afraid about this either, because any little bit that you can do building your doTERRA business, like I said, is just going to be so worth it for your family, for you, your personal life, your emotional life, your personal development. It's all going to be so worth it. All right, let's see. I think I covered most of what I wanted to cover for time management. So we talked a little bit about, what is your magic number? What are your office hours going to be? So you thought about realistically the number of hours that you have to allocate towards this business, and then decide, what are your office hours going to be like, and hold yourself to it, you guys. This happens to me a lot, where I'll like put in my calendar, doTERRA, follow up, contact, connect, that kind of thing from 12 to 2. And then, somebody says, hey, you want to have lunch tomorrow? And, sometimes I have to say, like, I'm working tomorrow. And it's really a challenge. But, I have this quote here that an addiction to distraction is the end of our creative production. And this happens a lot too when, you sit down on your social media day to put a post up, and you've got like, 30 minutes of time that you've allocated towards doTERRA, and you're doing social media. You get into Facebook, you're in there for 20 minutes browsing through stuff, getting distracted, and then you've forgotten the reason that you're in there, and your 30 minutes is up and you haven't done your post. So it's really important to pay attention to how we're getting distracted in our lives. Another thing I have up here is that the average person spends about 4 hours per day watching TV in combination and/or social media. So over a lifetime, that'll be 13 years of their life spent on that. Let that settle for a sec, because I first read that, I was like, yeah, there's a lot more things in 13 years of my life I'd rather be doing, in hindsight. If you fast forward ahead, the end of your life, are you going to be proud about that? Is that filling up, your purpose? And so it's tricky. And I'm certainly okay with, like I said, you schedule that time for downtime and, watch a great movie, something really inspiring, or, your favorite show or something like that. But just notice when it's constantly like you're trying to distract yourself from doing these things that are not comfortable. I mean, building this business isn't always comfortable, and holding yourself personally accountable for doing them is even more uncomfortable some days. So you'll try to distract yourself all kinds of different ways, but just think about that and focus on really holding yourself accountable to your vision, okay? And know where you could be spending a little less time, and where you could be putting a little more time into things that are going to really move you forward towards where you want to be. All right, and sometimes we have to say no before saying yes. Like when you wake up first thing in the morning and you immediately jump on your email and you start responding to stuff right away. If you do that, you're immediately building up somebody else's dreams before your own. So, you're constantly at someone else's beck and call, responding to their stuff before you even had a minute to check into your mental state for the day, the things that are your priorities, your focus, what's really important to you in doing in the morning, or even throughout the day. If you have to sometimes practice saying no and check what's asking for your attention against your vision. And this can be sometimes with relationships, somebody who really is, has a hard time, and maybe you're really empathetic and you want to give them their time by listening and serve them in that way, but it ends up completely draining you of all of your energy, and you no longer have any energy to put towards your ultimate visions and what you really want to achieve. And so it can be really challenging. I have a terrible time with boundaries and have been working on it for a while. So you've really got to try and check your Check yourself before you wreck yourself, right? All right, so you guys, will it be worth it? I mean, picture the outcome. If you can just sit with that why you want to do this, what your life will be like in 5 years, all of that we talked about in the very first call, you know, will it be worth it? I think you visualize yourself there. Maybe you still have a little bit of fear and doubt, but even if just an ounce of you has belief, keep nurturing that seed of belief. It will grow. So one more little quote I'll end with. Are you waking with a stirring life purpose or mission or dream you are after? Do you hunger for it in the morning? Orient your day in its pursuit. Choose an aim, purpose. Pursue it with peace but persistence, and you will find flow, joy, and growth, power once more. So the Motivation Manifesto is a great read if you've never read it. Yeah, you know, just get after it this month, you guys. I'm really, really excited for you. Any other questions, please? Again, I'm just going to say it one more time. Please post to the Facebook group. Talk with someone about any questions, comments you have. Questions about teaching, questions about building, questions about whatever, customers, nurturing, all that. And then be on the lookout for the webinars coming up. Especially the welcome webinar, and I'll also post a video that you can actually use as your welcome call for people, or you can send them a little email and we'll talk about welcoming people to our community. Yeah, I think that's it, you guys. Let me just double check my notes, but you know, classes are the bread and butter of how you build this business. So it's going to take time to get really, really good at them, but that's where it's at. That's where the magic happens, and you just have to keep with it. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for your time and watching this video, and I look forward to talking with you guys really soon, and I'll check you next week for welcoming webinar. All right, take care.